This is MX-15 Fusion with the XFCE desktop. This is the way it comes with the panel on the left, but since it's XFCE, it can be configured any way you want. So if you'll pardon me, I'm about to do that. I've sped this up to save time, but if you want to see the details of how I'm tweaking the XFCE desktop, see my video on tweaking the Ubuntu desktop. It's also XFCE, and you'll see all of these procedures in more detail. All right, now I have the panels where I want. I have a panel at the top with the whisker menu, the launchers, the so-called system tray or notification area, and the clock. I have a panel at the bottom with a show desktop icon, the window buttons for open applications, have to be in the right workspace to show them. Simple screen recorder is running on workspace 2. And on the right I have the workspace switcher with 4 workspaces. Now this is the whisker menu. I'm just going to make one change here, or rather 4 changes. Notice that the categories are on the right and the details are on the left. I don't like it that way. I read from left to right. So I'm going to right click on that. Properties, behavior. I'm going to leave checked switch categories by hovering. I'm going to check position search entry next to panel button, position commands next to search entry, and position categories next to panel buttons. Now I'm going to go back to appearance, and I'm going to uncheck show application descriptions. I'm going to close. So now the whisker menu is the way I like it too, and by dragging on it I can make it a little larger so I don't have to scroll up and down when I get to larger numbers of categories. Here under settings there's so many, I still have to scroll, but I have to scroll less. Let me explain a couple things. It's based on Debian Stable, but it's brought up to date and augmented heavily by the MX-15 community. Debian Stable tends to get a bit old, but I found all of the software I usually use in the versions I usually use them with. This is much better than Debian Stable as it comes from Debian. It came with the Synaptic package manager already installed, which is usually the case with Debian. Synaptic package manager. It also comes with MX tools. You can create a live USB. Remaster CC allows you to provide persistence on your live USB. And Snapshot allows you to create an ISO of your system as you have it configured. So if you have to reinstall it again, you don't have to keep reconfiguring it. Boot repair allows you to repair the Grub boot manager in case it becomes corrupted or in case you want to change it. And Flash Manager allows you to manage the way you use Adobe Flash and Pepper Flash. The menu editor lets you edit the menu, as you might imagine. And you can reconfigure your user setup with the user manager. Also has a Broadcom manager for those who have the Broadcom wireless driver. A codecs installer, let's try that one. I assume responsibility for using these proprietary codecs. Okay. So now it's going to install them. Now they've been successfully installed. These are all the codecs that Debian does not have in its repository because it adheres strictly to the open source licensing. Notice here that I didn't have to enter my password again because I just entered it recently, so it doesn't keep asking me for my password. You can also install the Debian Backports if you want a little more up-to-date software than is in the Debian Stable repositories. And there's a package installer in addition to Synaptic. Notice I didn't have to enter my password again repetitively, a wonderful touch. They have this package installer which had a lot of things that are not in the Debian repository. For instance, I downloaded and installed a simple screen recorder. Normally, if I were using Ubuntu, I'd have to use a PPA to do that. It isn't in their repositories. I also have the choice of record my desktop or OBS Studio. Under Torrent, I downloaded and installed Deluge, even though it comes with transmission. I like Deluge better, and I was able to get it quickly just by clicking on this. Actually, I installed OpenShot, but I used Synaptic for that, but I could have done it here. And I could have installed a different window manager if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I'm quite happy with this one. Now, being Debian, it's very fast. Everything works at lightning speed, as you can see. I can see one thing I don't like. It doesn't have the edge snap. So I'm going to go into Settings, and let's see, it's either under Window Manager or Window Manager Tweaks. Here it says window snapping to screen borders and to other windows. I'm going to click to other windows also. Now where it says wrap workspaces when reaching the screen edge, I'm going to uncheck that, and let's see what happens now. Yeah, now it snaps to the edge, fills up half the screen, just like I like it. Want to show another window? It's over there. Perfect. In addition to the minimize button, the maximize or unmaximize button, and the close button, they have this little arrow here. It rolls the window up so that only the title bar remains. I don't really like this, but sometimes it happens when you don't want it to happen. So I'm going to leave this little arrow in here because sometimes it happens when the arrow is not present and you don't have the vaguest idea what to do. If your window ever does disappear like that, you can right-click on it and you'll see an option to roll the window up or down. All right. Just a few more things I wanted to mention. If you right-click on the desktop, you can go to Desktop Settings and choose from a variety of wallpapers. Not too many, but as with all other distributions, you can download your own pictures. The network manager worked perfectly, unlike recent network managers in a variety of other distributions. In this case, it happens to be an earlier version of the network manager that was defective, not a later version. So one hopes that if it is ever upgraded, MX-15 will avoid the defective one. So I would give this distribution very high marks for including all of the positive things about Debian, the huge repositories of stable software, etc. But it's a vast improvement on Debian as it comes directly from Debian. It includes all of the restricted codecs. It includes a lot of up-to-date software that's not in the Debian Stable repository. When I downloaded the ISO, to give you an updated ISO every month, so you don't have to download all of the updates since the distribution was first released last year. I downloaded them as of September 16th, which is less than a month ago. I really like MX-15 and would recommend it to anyone who wants to use Debian without all of the hassle normally associated with Debian. This is XRAM Tech. Thanks for watching.